With 2011 right around the corner, you might consider a New Year's resolution to help those in need. The number of hungry people has topped 1 billion worldwide, according to the United Nations World Food Program. And Betty Nguyen takes helping some of those people in need very personally. Betty.
Yeah, good morning, Rebecca. You know, it's often hard to imagine extreme poverty until you see it up close. It's especially difficult when you have a personal connection to those affected. So in an effort to help, I traveled back to my birth country of Vietnam to distribute humanitarian aid to those struggling to survive. The sound of mopeds fill the streets of Saigon. It's officially called Ho Chi Minh City, but it will always be Saigon to me. This is where I was born, shortly before the communists took over and changed the city's name, signaling an end to the Vietnam War. Today, it's flourishing as one of the fastest growing economies in Asia, from the markets where the food is fresh and often still alive, to the fields where the harsh reality is millions work for next to nothing. Here, poverty is a way of life. Homes are little more than grass huts with dirt floors. This woman tells us 3 generations have lived in this house since 1975.
Very hard.
And you can see why. It's a 1-bedroom hut with just 3 walls. 4 people sleep right here. There's no mattress. Basically, you have just a wooden platform and a hammock. Nearby, we meet another woman whose home is falling apart, but says there's nowhere else to go. This is her stove, right here in the middle of this house. As you can see, much of it is open to the elements. The wall is partially missing, but she tells me they don't have enough money to fix it. Stories of desperation fill these remote villages. More than 10 million live below Vietnam's poverty line, which is why we've come back to provide humanitarian aid through a charity my family founded called Help the Hungry. This is our 10th year bringing food, medicine, and hygienic supplies to thousands struggling to survive. It's a journey that's often a race against time. Annual monsoons can be devastating and deadly. We try to distribute aid before the rain washes out bridges and fills up homes, but sometimes it's too late. This year, we were able to reach remote areas before the flooding had begun. Still, the sheer number of those in need can be overwhelming. Traveling from village to village, handing out aid, you can see how poverty has a way of ripping apart families. Mandy Doe. This 12-year-old says her mother abandoned them 3 years ago. She lives in this tiny hut with her father and 2 sisters. Sometimes it's not the aid, but the toys that help children forget their struggle, even if just for a moment. When poverty is your reality, those living it are in a danger zone. These are mosquito nets that we're providing because this particular area is known to have malaria, and these nets will protect families. Yet many can't escape the bacteria that fills these canals. Here, makeshift restrooms dump sewage directly into what also serves as drinking water. In an effort to prevent the spread of disease, we began installing water wells. For these villages, what most of us consider a basic necessity is proving to be a life-saving luxury. But for every family we help, the hardest part for me is knowing there are millions we couldn't reach. No matter how many times we come, or how much we try to bring, it's never enough. The need here is just so great, which is why we come back, trying to make a difference, and maybe providing a little bit of hope. This was our 10th trip to the region, which is why it was so important that we begin building water wells. This way, we're planting permanent solutions for villages that have seen their share of hardships. Rebecca.
Yeah, infrastructure in these places is so important, and it's such a significant step to their development. What's interesting about Vietnam is that it's one of the world's fastest growing economies, and yet you still have this major contrast and major poverty going on there.
No doubt, and to some people that's very surprising. Yes, many people have been lifted from poverty because of this economic boom, but in the rural areas, many millions still do not have an education, and without that, the cycle of poverty just continues, and it's hard to really rise from that.
Well, it's good to know your family and so many like you are going back and making sure to make a difference there. Thank you, Betty Nguyen.